Everyone, Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of the Professor's Picks alongside the professor himself on this Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same to you.
Yeah. I'm gonna we're gonna get through this and I'm gonna be working on my taxes all weekend.
I just finished all of mine yesterday and dropped them off at the accountant this morning. So,
I haven't made an appointment yet.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the actually I gotta work on my on PayPal. PayPal's reporting is the worst. I mean,
See, and I just got for the first time from them their report, and they sent me everything that came in, and it's nice and neat. And I was like, oh, cool. So
well, I do because I do a lot of international stuff and then there and the exchange, you have to deal with the exchange rates and finance. They don't make it intuitive. I've, after all these years, I've kind of got it down to a science, but it's very time consuming. So,
well, good luck with that. While
thank
you're
you.
slaving over your taxes, I'll be at Dream Theater tomorrow
Oh
night.
yeah, when is that?
Tomorrow
When is
night,
that?
Radio City Music Hall.
Oh, that's cool. Who are you going with?
My brother and Rick Labonte.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, Rick's coming down to Florida.
Rick is coming in for that.
Yeah, he just saw them in, I guess, Detroit recently, and now he's coming to New York to see this one. So, yeah,
Yeah, you got to find some good eats by Radio
yeah,
City.
we're gonna go to oh, where are we going? Hold on, I'll tell you exactly where we're going. Bardo. It's a kind of upscale pizzeria bar in Hell's Kitchen, about 4 or 5 blocks from Radio City.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a nice looking menu, a lot of cool looking pizzas, full cocktails and beers and whatnot. Looks like a nice little place. And yeah, figure try something new.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Listen,
Bar
Manhattan,
do.
if it's in Manhattan, the competition is so high
Oh yeah, yeah.
that, bad restaurants don't last very long in New
No,
York
they
City.
don't. They don't. Yeah,
It's hard to
it's a
get
good
it.
location over there. So
It's hard to
it's
get a bad meal in New York.
yeah,
So,
yeah, true. True.
you know. So, so I got a lot of cool stuff this week. It
Cool.
was
Lay
it
'em on
was
me.
a very busy week. We only have one pre-order. Let me get going with it. Lars Frederick Freusler,
Saw that. Yeah.
Gamla Mester, keyboard player from Wobbler and White Willow. So this comes out May 9th. We have the CD and we have the vinyl. I think just black vinyl. And so we're taking pre-orders for it. Looks like Lars painted the cover again. What can I say? But hey, I like this first solo album a lot.
Yeah.
And he put one track out there from this one. It sounds very good. So I think it's going to be more of the same.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Yep.
All right, let's hit the regular CDs. First, again, going through the alphabet, Don Airey, keyboardist from Deep Purple, and well, from a lot of bands,
Yeah.
actually.
Rainbow, Ozzy Osbourne, Coliseum 2, you name it. He's done.
Yeah, but he's good. Guy's
Yeah.
good.
Great. Yeah.
So he has Simon McBride, who's the latest Dream Theater, Deep Purple guitarist,
Yeah.
and the singer from Nazareth, whose name I don't remember, because the original singer from Nazareth is dead, right?
Yeah, Dan passed away. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so I guess it's the new. Uh
Carl Sentence, I think is his name.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's who it is.
Yeah.
New one from Arch Enemy, Eliza White Glues, and Mike Amott,
Yep.
uh, who I know from Spiritual Beggars. And I mean, Arch Enemy, not my thing, but she's great, and we sell it. So
I'm sure it'll be solid. All their albums are pretty good for the most
and if
part.
you watch the videos, she looks good. So you know,
I found she is good. I have found though since she joined the band, their music is a little samey from album to album. I don't know. I like Angela better in the band personally, but I think, musically it still sounds like Arch Enemy and she's fine. I don't dislike her at all. Maybe just one of those instances of a band who's done a lot of albums and at this point it's like you know what you're going to get with an Arch Enemy album, which for many people is a good thing.
well, you could say that about any
Yeah,
a
pretty
lot of
much.
bands we listen to, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, and the other side of it is if they deviate too much, the fans are up in arms, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
damn if they
It'll be
do,
good.
damn if they don't.
Yeah, I'm
So
sure it'll be great. There's probably gonna be great guitar work on it as always. And yeah.
yeah, I would love it if they would do another Spiritual Beggars album.
Oh yeah, he's overdue for that. Yeah, for sure. I know
I
there's a
would,
lot more money in Arch Enemy for him, obviously, and that's
I
why.
would think so. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I would prefer him to put Arch Enemy on the side for a little while and concentrate on Spiritual Beggars, but he ain't listening to me. So
right. All right, the next one in a completely different world, different universe. This is a good one. I'm actually going to hold up the one I set aside for you, Pete. So this is a reissue. We had this years ago. So well, you can see it. This is by the Barrett's Hals Band, Swedish jazz rock ensemble. From this was recorded in '74, came out in '75. Quite rare. Great lineup. It's drums, electric piano, flute, two trumpeters, bass, and guitar. It's long tracks, only four tracks on the album. Uh, Very much in that Electric Miles style. And you dig Bitches Brew, you'll like this. So we had it years ago, and well, we haven't had it in years. And one of the distributors that handles the release, they still had some copies. And I said, we have a different audience. We're doing well with jazz. Jazz rock seems to be doing better now. So let's bring it back. So I bought up their remaining copies, and and it's a pain in the ass to pack because it's so big and heavy. But for you people, we'll do it. And it's put it back up on the site, and it's selling great. And it will be gone either today or by the end of the weekend for sure. So Barrett's Hals Band,
grab him now.
yeah, Swedish jazz rock, good stuff. Next thing we got here, we took pre-orders for this. Big Big Train Bar. This was the band's third album. They had Tony Aubrey remix it. They included a live bonus track. This is with their old singer, and well, maybe not a high point for the band, but for completists, what have you, we got a lot of pre-orders for it, and they're going out the door. So fill that hole in the collection, and maybe with a better version than what was previously available. Next one, we got shut out on this originally, but they restocked it. New Cats in Space Time Machine. So big bombastic AOR is the way I think of it. More like more like Queen in space. So yeah, So let's see. So we're a little late on that one. Dim Gray. So I don't know a tremendous amount about Dim Gray. This is called Shards. Now, I know they're a Norwegian neo-prog band, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure I'll be corrected because I'm always corrected. I believe they opened for Marillion, or maybe it was Big Big Train, but they seem to have found an audience in the British scene. So they I made one pass through it. It's not my style of prog. I like that 70s retro kind of a thing. This is this sort of sounds like the kind of thing that would fit like on Case Coat. So if you like a more contemporary neo type thing, Dim Gray, Shards, Norwegian band.
Yeah, I remember the name of the band, but I couldn't tell you what.
Yeah.
Like,
If it came out on Apollon, you wouldn't think twice. That kind of a thing. All right, next. This is interesting. Jabe and Steve Hackett, Freya, Arctic Jam, and this is a CD Blu-ray. So Jabe is a Hungarian ensemble, and somehow they hooked up with Steve Hackett, and this has been going on for years. He's been playing with them off and on, I think, since 2011, something like that. And did you know that? Did you ever hear of this band?
no.
They have they have a lot of releases together.
Wow.
Mo, a lo- they were released in Hungary for a period of time, and then Esoteric started releasing them. We have like three or four titles. So they're sort of like a progressive world music ensemble, and Steve likes what they do, and they like him, and they invited him, and he plays with them. This is a studio album, and in the past, it's usually been like live shows where they do some of their material with him, and then they do some of Steve's solo stuff. So you hear them doing Ace of Wands, that kind of thing. So this is actually a new studio album, and you get the CD, and then you get the Blu-rays with the high res version of the album, and then on top of that, there's I believe there's some live footage as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting. It's like this other, there's just this other thing completely apart from his solo career and from Genesis that he does, and he's been doing it for quite a while. Yeah,
Never heard it.
it's kind of cool. So, one of the greats, Egg. This has been out of print for a number of years. Esoteric decided to repress it, so we have it back. This may or may not be in stock still when this airs. Envy of None with Alex Lifeson, Stygian Waves. Uh, I don't even know how to describe it. I would have you, yeah, didn't do it for
I
me.
bought the first one when it came out, and I did not like it at all.
Not my thing. It's selling very well.
Yeah,
So,
not
uh,
surprised.
yeah, so we're at the end of inventory. I have more on order. So there you are. Next one is a sleeper. I recommend this next one. It's by the Far Cry, Once There Was. Do you know this band?
I've heard of them. Yep.
Do you remember a band called Holding Pattern?
Yep.
Tony Spada, right?
Yep. Yep.
Two of the guys in the Far Cry were members of Holding Pattern. And one of my customers said, "Hey, Ken, you should stock uh, Far Cry, the new Far Cry album." And I said, "All right, yeah, whatever." Everybody's telling me to check stuff out. And I said, "All right, go look." I go to the Bandcamp page. I'm like, that logo looks familiar. I look in the database, and I had their previous album from 2021. And so I listened to this, and this is pretty damn good. So we brought it in, and we restocked the old one. I can't say to you they sound like this or that. What I could tell you is they clearly embrace 70s prog. I mean, when you listen to this, it's got that retro sound, maybe a little American sounding, very, very good
Hmm.
and melodic. Um, yeah, I mean, will it remind you of Yes or Kansas or all? Yeah, you'll just get has that feel. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I can't point to you and say, oh, these guys are trying to do like Yes or anything like that, like some other bands. But anyway, the Far Cry, Once There Was, very, very good stuff. If you're a prog rock guy, I am a prog rock guy.
Absolutely.
Next, yeah. So yeah, I like it. Ghost of the Machine, Empires Must Fall. This is a British neo-prog band, and if I'm not mistaken, they are an offshoot of this Winter Machine, which were a good band that, from what I understand, they kind of splintered. That band kind of fell apart. It reconstituted itself, and my assumption is that these are guys who may have left the band originally and done their own thing. So, Jim, did we have a previous one from Ghost of the Machine? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so this may be their second. Yeah, good. Good. You know what? You know who would like go ape shit for it? Steven Reed would go ape shit for it. That's right in his wheelhouse. So Mark Marforti put this out on his Prog Rock Essentials label. Came out here. Next thing we got. People have been waiting for this. New one from IQ.
Oh, yes.
They just arrived. So we've got them. We'll be packing them and getting them out the door. And we don't have the vinyl. Vinyl, I don't think it's coming till April. So, so if you pre-order the vinyl, you got to wait. But we got the CDs, and we'll be getting them out to you. The official street date is next Friday. So, next thing, new one from Mostly Autumn, Seawater. mostly autumn. Kind of like Pink Floyd meets folk.
Yeah.
They've gone through different vocalists. This is with Olivia Sparnan. She's been with them for a while now, I believe. Heather Finley was originally
Yeah.
the band. Troy Donockley, who's now with, not well, he's still with Nightwish, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like a guest for mostly, he's guesting, and
Now
now
he's an official member. Yeah.
he's like an official member. So he guests on pipes and whistles and stuff. But it still has that sound. So there's two versions of this album, which is really annoying. They make two versions. They did this with previous albums. There's a regular CD, and then they do a limited edition 2 CD, and the second CD is a second CD of original music, and they do a very limited run. And I was only getting, and they do it every time. And I'm only able to get a handful. So there's going to be two separate listings on the website. And obviously, this is more expensive than this, but it's obnoxious because then you're literally getting a second album. It's not like they're sticking like demos or the instrumental version. They're giving you the second.
Just release a double album. For crying out loud.
This is at least the second or third time they've done it, and
Jeez.
they make it so limited. I kind of have a handful, and it might not even be on the website by the time people see the video. So we'll see. Um, so we have it in stock. Next, we've got Nectar, Journey to the Center of the Eye. There are two different versions. They keep bringing this album back from the dead. So it's a good album. It is the first Nectar album. So you have the single disc, a single disc version, I believe, 2 CD version. I'm sorry. It's the original album remastered, and then they give you what they call the Boston tapes, which is recording from 1970. I don't remember. Do you remember what the story was? They came over here for some reason, and I think it's like them in the studio. I think they were supposed to be getting a deal or management or something. I don't remember. I'm bullshitting you people. I don't really remember. But it was something like that. It's called, and it's always referred to as the Boston tapes. The other thing we got in is a box set which has 5.1 mixes. There's some live video footage. They give you the live from Darmstadt, Germany, 1971 bootleg that's been circulating for years and years and years. They cleaned it up, so it's a fancy box set. So we have Nectar, Journey, and Center of the Eye 2 ways. Orc, or ORK, Fire Hose of Falsehoods. Colin Edwin from Porcupine Tree, Pat Mastelotto, some Italian guys I don't know, Lorenzo Esposito, Fornassari, and Carmelo Pipitone. I wonder if he's related to Joe Pipitone. Anyway, yeah, exactly. And it is it crimsony? No, but it's a little more it's a little bit more on the experimental side. Um, yeah. Next one. This is an old favorite of mine. A remastered version of Alan Parsons' project, Tales of Mystery and Imagination. This is the very first one. And I just have a soft spot for this album. It's Alan Parsons and Eric Wolfson, and then they brought in all these musicians to play on the album. Melodic, progressive, symphonic, kind of orchestral, really. There's instrumentals on here which sound like classical music, and I think it's a great album. So this one and I Robot were they kind of lost me after that. Started to get a little too poppy.
You don't like Turn Your Friendly Carl? I think that's a great album.
They're all good, and there's all good tracks on them, but they started to get a little poppy and a little bit too much for me. But and like I said, this one's my favorite. So it was fun listening to it. I hadn't heard it in years.
It's a
So
good one. Yeah.
I mean, I remember discovering it, and it was like, it's like whoa. The next one I can't tell you too much about in terms of what it really sounds like. Riccati and Albuquerque. So it's Frank Riccati, British vibes player, jazz vibes player. He's fantastic. He did a ton of session work. and Mike de Albuquerque, and he was original member of Electric Light Orchestra.
I thought the name sounded familiar.
Yeah, and it's called First Wind. Came out in 19. I'm just gonna say 75, but again, I'm bullshitting y'all. I don't really remember, but I think it's something like that. And that timeline, that's around the right time. And they're calling it jazz rock. There's vocals on it. I did hear instrumental bits. I was just checking it out. It showed up yesterday, and it sounds interesting. Definitely kind of proggy. Jazz rock, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, Mike
Surf.
was he a cello or violin? I'm trying to remember what he played in the band.
No, Mick Kaminsky was the violinist.
Right, so he was a cello guy. Okay, I
I
thought so.
think he was the cellist. Yeah. So let's see. Next one. This is a hell of an album. Dominic Sanderson, Blazing Revelations. This album is fantastic. So, and there's a lot of buzz on this record. He is a British guitarist, plays some mellotron, some keyboards, and it is very Canterbury influenced, very 70s symphonic prog. Man, Pete, there's so much mellotron on this album, it's ridiculous. I love it. So long tracks, it's just absolutely solid. And I mean, there just seems to be this big buzz developing around this album. I checked it out and I said, no, I gotta bring this thing in. Really, really good. Um, this is going to be on a lot of people's top 10 lists at the end of the year, for
Wow.
sure. Yeah, it's real solid. Um, okay, this is a recent Inside Out signing sometime in February where Mountains High. Did they send that to you yet?
Yeah, I got it here. Yeah.
Instrumental, kind of reminds me of like Scale the Summit, a little bit along those lines. Instrumental, technical, progressive metal. Got Paul Wagner and Dan Briggs from Between the Buried and Me guesting on here. You got a chance to check it out?
Not yet. Not yet. I'm getting to it.
Okay. Next one is a pretty unusual album. We're going to see if it finds an audience. Now, I sold the last album. We'll see how this does. Ray Suey, Louis Porter Quartet. What happens next? Ray Suey, it's an interesting story. He's the guitarist in the death metal band 6 Feet Under. And this is his other life, basically. He plays jazz guitar. And but he plays, it's all clean guitar lines. It's not, and it's not like he's playing like a hollow body or anything like that. And it's straight ahead jazz. And Louis Porter is the pianist. So it's a quartet. I sold the last album, and I ordered this before I even got to hear it. And they've put a couple of tracks out there, and again, it's very good jazz with really beautiful electric guitar work. So it's not on CD. This is Hosan Yamamoto and Masabumi Kikuchi. So Hosan Yamamoto plays shakuhachi flute, Japanese bamboo flute, and he's revered in Japan, considered to be the master of shakuhachi flute. This is an album he did in the early 70s with the great Masabumi Kikuchi, jazz pianist. Gary Peacock is playing bass, and I forget Murakami's first name. I'm sorry, is the drummer. And it is a beautiful album, really kind of quiet, introspective jazz. I've gone through where'd you go, Pete? Oh, there you are.
I was frozen, so I just shut off the camera and turned it back on.
Oh, I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? So, I've gone through 3 vinyl copies of this album. I can't find a quiet pressing, so I may be keeping the CD. That may be the way to do it. Beautiful, really beautiful album. Gary Peacock's bass on here. Phenomenal, great player. A couple of quick restocks. We got back the John Anderson Live Perpetual Change, the 2 CD DVD. We've had the vinyl and the Blu-ray, but we were briefly out of the CD version. We've got that back. Finally got back the great, great Jupiter Fungus, Garden Electric.
I have that playing in my car as we speak.
It's a great record.
Yeah.
And hopefully everybody could hear the landscapers outside cutting my grass. Let's see what else.
Kind of early for that.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they're right outside my window. Okay. Vinyl. What did I do with the vinyl? Did I leave out the vinyl? Well, what the hell? Something happened with the vinyl. Bear with me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Gonna go grab them. By the way, folks, if you haven't checked out that Jupiter Fungus, it's pretty damn rocking. Lots of fun. Great guitar, Hammond organ, Mellotron, all sorts of good stuff. It's quite good, quite good.
Okay. So I don't know what happened with the little JPEGs of the vinyl. We got the big train Bard. We have that as a 2 LP set. We have the Alan Parsons Project, Tales of Mystery and Imagination. Cut it at 45 RPM, double album, cut by Miles Scholl at Abbey Road Studios from the original master tapes. And this thing, that's why I ran over there. Oh, let me get rid of you. Where are you? Let's get rid of this. Of course, you'll see it backwards. Counterbalance by the Heikki Sarmanto Quintet. So Finland had a great jazz rock history, particularly in the 70s. Really phenomenal players. And Heikki Sarmanto is a keyboardist, and he's had all kinds of iterations. He's had quartets. This is a quintet, and this one is from 1971. Juhani Aaltonen, great flautist, he's on here. Heikki Sarmanto playing Fender Rhodes electric piano. Lance Gunnarsson on electric guitar. Heikki's brother Pekka Sarmanto on double bass, and Craig Herndon on drums. I think Craig Herndon was an American. And I believe, if I have my history right, Heikki Sarmanto may have done some studying, maybe at Berkeley or so. He has some background in the U.S. This is a fantastic album, quite rare, just reissued by Spark Records. Again, flute, electric piano, this beautiful all long tracks, 6 tracks on the album. Love the cover. So I was lucky to get an original about a year or two ago. And for some reason they didn't reissue it on CD, but this is a great album.
Svart's a pretty good label, but man, they're so eclectic. They'll put out like a death metal album, and then the following week they'll put out something like that. It's just like,
Yeah, and they're doing well. Unfortunately, they seem to be doing less and less of the reissues because they've kind of tapped that pretty well.
yeah.
So they've kind of like done it, and then they go out of print, and then. But this is one of the best. So I highly recommend this album. Heikki Sarmanto Quintet. What happened to my JPEG? I don't know. Okay, now we get into the cheap shit. So I have a lot of cheap shit. I decided to save some of it for next week because already we're running long. There's so much stuff. So I've got some highlights here. Next week will be completely different. Oh, I turned off the JPEGs. So there we go. Hannibal. So Hannibal is a really good British band, one and done band. I think this is 1970, 71. Pete, this is right in your wheelhouse. These guys, it's kind of a little bluesy, great guitar. It's kind of got that Vertigo sound. This was released on B&C, which was the precursor to Charisma Records. And yeah, if this was on Vertigo or Neon, it'll remind you a little bit of like Indian Summer, Raw Material, any of those kind of bands. It's great stuff. Keith did the cover, did the first Black Sabbath, and you could always, he did Spring. You could always recognize his. This is great. We got it. I think it's like $8. So we got it's not a bootleg, so we just got a good deal on it. Same thing goes with Jerusalem.
That's a good one.
So this was a one and done. I believe it was one and done.
Well, they put
English,
out a couple albums years and years later, like within
like
the
decades later,
decade.
right?
Yeah, but they're not very good. That's
Yeah.
the only one you really need.
So this is from I think what like 1970, 71, something like that. It's very
Yep.
early,
Produced by
and,
Ian Gillan. Yep.
and Ian Gillan produced it, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah, again, we got it's authorized, not a boot. We got cheap copies. Now we're talking boot. We're talking Led Zeppelin live in Montreux, 1971, double CD. I can't speak. I can't speak for the quality. So what I can tell you is it's inexpensive. So you spend your money, you take your chances. With all of these, gray area stuff, the labels hype these things to death, and you could kind of take it with a grain of salt because sometimes they're right. Sometimes it's the real deal. Um, VSOP 2 Live Under the Sky '83, which is with I believe is the Marsalis brothers on here, and this I believe is a radio broadcast and an actual radio broadcast. Again, cheap double CD. We've got two cheapies from Weather Report. These are not boots. Again, the first Weather Report album, and we have Sweet Nighter. So if you're just looking to pick up cheap copies of early Weather Report, and for my mind, maybe the two best albums.
That's great. Yeah.
They're both great albums. So yeah, so that's what we got, and there's more to come. There's a lot of cool stuff in transit. So yeah, and I'm holding back on everybody. So
You can wait till next week, right?
yeah, and yeah, there's like I said, there's that band Moonlight Sky is in transit. That was a Slovakian fusion band. Um, got the new Flame Drop. That'll be here. Um, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff happening. So we'll see.
Cool. As always, lasercd.com is the URL. We'll have that pinned down below in the top of the comments, as well as the entire list that Ken showed off and discussed today. So for all of you who like to do the copy and paste thing, just look down below. It'll all be there. And as we always say,
Oh, by a lot, by often.
yeah.
One other thing I should mention only because it just popped in my head and I got completely fucked up with the vinyl. Jupiter Fungus, we had the vinyl as well. Yes. So
Oh,
anyway.
okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, when you were walking to go grab something, I was telling everybody the virtues of that album and how good it is, and how everybody needs to have it.
You really, boy, and I'm told they're working on a new album already.
Oh, good. Okay, that's good. That's good news.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
We'll see
Yeah.
where they go from here. Yeah, it's a really good album. A lot of fun. So cool. So there you have it, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as a post. And please do hit that like button before you leave. Greatly appreciate it. We got coming up here on the channel the UK Connection tomorrow and Sunday ranking the albums of Loggins and Messina alongside Mr. Grant Arthur. So stay tuned for all that and more here on the channel. I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you real soon. For Ken Golden, have a good weekend, everybody. Take care.
Take care.